Hey, I'm Amanda Kleckler with Grace Monroe Home and Design with the Pros. And today we are going to show you how to make an easy, simple, but very beautiful fall wreath. So let's get started. First, I'm going to show you what we need to make this wreath. You're going to need to have a grapevine wreath base. Now you can use an 18-inch or you can use a 14-inch. Today I'm using a 14-inch just because that's what I had handy, but either one will work. You're also going to need either a pre-made bow or some type of ribbon. I'm using a 2.5-inch wired burlap ribbon and a 1.5-inch wide fall ribbon that both of these actually came from Hobby Lobby. You're also going to need 4 hydrangeas. I'm using a really pretty rust color for fall, and then I've got a sage green, but you could use any color that you wanted for this. And I have 1 bush of fall leaves. Now you're also going to need either a glue gun or a glue pot, like I'm using, a glue skillet, and you will need wire cutters and scissors. So that's all you need to make this wreath. It's very simple, like I said, and it's so pretty. So we're going to go ahead and get started by making our bow. Now I didn't mention earlier, but actually to make this bow I am using a bow dabber bow maker. Now if you have another bow maker that you like to use, you could use that to make this bow. You could make this bow by hand, or you could just use a pre-made bow that you get at somewhere like Michael's or Walmart or Hobby Lobby. Like I mentioned before, I have a burlap wired ribbon that I'm going to use, and I just have another accent ribbon, which is just a fall ribbon that I purchased at Hobby Lobby. So first we're going to cut our tails. Now this bow is just a small double bow. You're going to cut your tails 24 inches. So I've got about a 24 inch. Now I'm not measuring this, but this is about 24 inches of burlap material. And I'm going to do the same thing for my other ribbon. So I'm just going to use the burlap to measure, and you just want to get them as close as you can to even. They don't have to be perfect. It's not a huge deal. I am going to need some floral wire though for this. And now this is 26 gauge floral wire. You can get this pretty much anywhere, any craft store. I get mine just from Walmart. I like the 26 gauge best when I'm making bows, but you could use a different one. Okay, so what I did with my bow dabber, I just tucked that right underneath. So I just folded, I'll show you that again. I just folded my wire right in half, and I'm tucking that in and under. Okay, I'm gonna put my tails right down the center and just make sure they're as close to even as you can get them. And then you can put those aside. First I want to start with my burlap, and I just kind of throw mine on the floor or to the side. You want to put about an inch down like that. So you want to put it down in your bow dabber, and you want to have about an inch on the opposite side. And then you're going to make a loop. So I make my loops about 6 inches. It's not an exact science, so it doesn't have to be perfect. The main thing is that you get them even. And to measure if they're even, I just take them, I stick my thumb right down there, and I just take them and pull them up and just make sure they're as close to even as I can get them. Okay. And actually, I'm going to put 2 loops of each for this one. And so I do have, we have a lot of more in-depth tutorials on bow making and how to make different types of bows using a bow dabber and even by hand. So if you guys want to watch those, you can find those on our YouTube channel. So once I have my burlap in there, and basically what I just did 4 loops, 2 on each side. So I just looped and looped, and then looped and looped, just like that. And now I'm going to put my 1.5 inch right on top. Now I'm going to make this one just a little bit shorter. So the burlap was about 6 inches, and I'm going to make this one about 1 inch shorter, so about 5 inches. And I'm going to loop, loop, and then loop, loop again, just like that. And now for the center, I'm just going to make a little small loop, just a couple of inches, and that's going to be the center of my bow, just like that. You want to push down, and you're going to push down with your thumb on your ribbons and pull up at the same time with your wire. And you want to pull really tight on that wire. Take it out, you wrap your wire around back, so just pull it around back, and then just twist about 4 times. And then you want to make sure you cut off your extra ribbon that you're not using. And then you can fluff out your bow. And now really with this bow, you could make it as big as you wanted with as many loops as you want, but I am just doing a small little bow for this one. And then you fluff it out how you want it, and you're ready to wire it on your wreath. So now that we have our bow ready, we are going to attach it to our wreath. So for this particular wreath, you want to take your grapevine and you want to adjust it so you can tell what is the top and bottom. So I just kind of do it like that, back and forth, and just kind of see where it falls and hangs the best. And then you are going to put your bow on the left side of your wreath, right in the middle, right in the center. So to do that, you'll just take your wire, pull it around back, and just wire it straight to the grapevine. Now you do want to make sure that it's wired on really tightly so that it doesn't go anywhere and it stays put. But once you're finished with your wreath, you can adjust your loops and your bow and get it how you want it. You don't have to do that right at the beginning. So we have our 4 hydrangeas. These did come from Hobby Lobby. You could use any color hydrangeas you wanted, and you could even use peonies, or you could use roses if you wanted to use those. I just like hydrangeas. I like to use them because they take up a lot of space and they're relatively inexpensive. So now what I'm doing is I'm cutting my stems, and now I'm leaving my stems about 3.5 to 4 inches long. And I'll show you why in just a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all of those and set the stems aside. Now I love this wreath because it's so quick and easy to make. So I'm going to dip my stem in my glue skillet. Now this is an actual skillet that is made for glue. It's intended for glue. It's not just a crock pot. If you do not have one of these, that's okay. You'll just want to use a glue gun. And now I'm going to find the center of the top of the wreath, and I'm going to poke my hydrangea right through. So I'm going to poke that stem right through the grapevine and just adjust it right there in this top center of the wreath where I want it. Now I'm starting with my green. Like I said, you can start with whatever color or do it whatever colors you want to. Now I'm going to go with my orange. And I'm going to have that one about 4 inches from the green one. Just want to make sure I have it in there really well. Just like that. So I want them right next to each other, but I don't want them so close that they're squishing each other. I want them to still look full and pretty. Next, I'm going to go with my green. And for that one, I'm going to go right up underneath the bow. So I'm going to dip the stem into some hot glue. And I'm just going to stick it right in there, right underneath that bow, just like that. And for my 4th and final hydrangea, I'm going to do the same thing. right underneath that green. Now let me turn it so that I can look at it and see that I have everything where I want it. And you can do this too with your wreaths. You just want to adjust the flowers to your own preference and liking. Now this wreath would look pretty just like that, just with the hydrangeas. Now what you can do, you can use the leaves that come on the hydrangea stem, and you can go behind them and just add those in. And when I'm doing that, I always like to add just a few to the center. But I want this wreath to be really fallish, so I am going to add some fall leaves. Now, oops, that one just fell off. Now these are glittered leaves. These did come from Walmart. Any kind of fall leaves will work. I kind of like the glitter just because it adds a little extra. I'm going to go ahead and cut off my leaves right off of the bush so that I have them handy to use and to put in the wreath. And I may or may not use all of these leaves. It really just depends. You can put as many as you like or as few as you like. Or like I said, you don't even have to use them. You could use the actual leaves that came on the hydrangea. Okay, what I'm doing right now, I'm finding my two most full leaves, the ones that have the most on the stem. And I'm going to put one right here at the top and then one right at the bottom. So I'm going to dip that in my glue. I'm just going to pull my hydrangea up just like that and come right behind it with those fall leaves. And then I just want to pull them out, spread them out so they look really pretty behind that. And next, look, let me cut that just a little bit shorter. I'm going to put my next bunch of leaves down here at the bottom. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull the hydrangea up and just tuck those right underneath that hydrangea. So I'm kind of tucking them behind the flower bloom. And so now I'll show you what that looks like. So now I'm just going to come around the outside with some of these leaves, and I'm going to sprinkle them throughout the outside and a couple in the inside. Okay, you always want to make sure that you get behind your bow. That's just going to help your bow to stand up and hold its shape better. Okay, turn this and look at it. Alright, I'm going to put a few more right up here. Because I like a lot of leaves, especially these glittered leaves. I don't like the way that that one looks because I'm kind of picky, so I'm going to cut that one off. And you remember, this is your wreath, so you do it how you want it and how you like it. Now I'm going to add a few more. I'm going to have to put some of these back together, those that fell off. Okay, and so what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to tuck some right here under the hydrangea on the inside because I don't want it to, I don't want to neglect the inside of the wreath. I want to make sure that it's full and pretty too. Just want to add some there. behind here. I love the ones, some of them on the ones that I'm using have a lot more glitter, and I love those the best. And actually, you could go and you could spray your wreath with spray glitter after you're done if you really like that glittered look and you want more of that. Let's add in more there. And I'm actually adding a little bit more than one bush just because, like I said, I like the look of a lot of fall leaves. You could use one bush, you could use half a bush. It's all up to you. And I'm going to put one more right here at the top. Actually, I told a story. I'm gonna put one more. Right there. All right, there you go. So you could add as many, as few as you want. It's all up to you. Now what you want to do, when you get finished, your back is going to look like this. So it's going to have a lot of stems along the back. So you want to go through and you want to cut all of those stems off. So you'll use your wire cutters and you'll just go around the back and you'll cut any of those stems that are sticking out. You want to make sure that you cut really close to the grapevine because you don't want any of those scratching your door. So anywhere you see any sticking out, you want to be sure to cut those off. All right, so there you have it. We have a quick, easy, and inexpensive fall wreath. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and also check out our blog for more DIY tips and tutorials. I hope you have a great day. Bye.